Hi guys, this is going to be a super important video and make sure you watch it all the way to the end because you want to understand everything before you start to put things into practice. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to make women ejaculate. So I know many of you are really wanting to be that man and provide that for her, so I'm going to give you the how-tos. I am Céline Remy, the Intimacy Angel, and I'm here to help you bring your sexy back in life. Okay, so first we need to start with a little bit of anatomy because without this, it's not gonna work. So we need to talk about the inside of her vagina, and let's go inside and look at different things. So inside her vagina, there are kind of like what I would say erotic zones, and some people call this like the G-spot, but what you need to understand is that the G-spot is not really a spot. It's more of an area. And if we look at it fully, it has a tail and a head and a body. And this is why when she is aroused, it will change the hot spot, what feels really good and what's more, has more sensations, will change depending on her level of arousal. So this area is also called the urethral sponge, and it's located at the top of the roof of the vagina when you're inside. However, a lot of people think that it has to be very deep, but it's not the case. I want you to think about the urethral sponge as a tube that surrounds the tube of the urethra. You can feel the urethral sponge by inserting a finger inside her vagina and pressing up towards the roof, towards her pubic bone. Now, you don't have to go really deep. It is a misconception that you have to go like all the way deep. It's about a knuckle deep for the first area, for the head of the urethral sponge, or what you might have heard called the G-spot. And that's where you would find that. So only go about a knuckle deep. You want to feel ridges and a texture that is different. It will vary. It's not going to be as smooth as the rest of the inside of her vagina. So that's how you can feel that you are on it. Now, I want to clarify one thing is that female ejaculation does not come out of the vagina. It comes out through the urethra. And that's why it may look like she's peeing, but she's not. Okay, so now that you understand a little bit more of the anatomy and what needs to be stimulated, because without stimulating the urethral sponge, you are not going to get her engorged enough. You are not going to have all of the fluids that are going to build up. And there's a lot of different things in there. The skin's glands are also involved and everything swells up. It's also been called the female prostate. And so you want that to happen, but she needs to be aroused. But what do you really need to do in order to make her ejaculate? I want to say, like, it's pretty easy. That's two things. You need the right kind of stimulation in the right spots, and you need her to be able to relax. And that's the tricky part. So you need to be able to make her feel safe and make her feel comfortable about her body, especially since it comes out of the pee hole, that she's not peeing, that you're okay with her ejaculating, so that she can let her mind start to like relax and not be so worried about what you might think or how gross or whatever that is. So you need to help her calm her mind. And the other thing is that you have to remove the pressure to perform. You have to remove, otherwise it gives her this performance anxiety. And I know that you're quite familiar with performance anxiety, because if we come to you and we expect you to have a boner for a certain amount of time or whatever, it's scary, right? Well, it is the same for us. If you expect us that we need to ejaculate or that our bodies need to respond a certain way, we feel really pressured. And when there's this type of pressure, there's no way that she can ejaculate. Now, the other thing that you need to understand is that the G-spot or urethral sponge may take some time to awaken. For a lot of women, it's an area in their body that hasn't yet really been stimulated enough, and it can take a little bit of time, anywhere from like a few weeks to a few months of direct stimulation and massage and just relaxation, placing the breath into the area. So don't be discouraged if it doesn't work the first time or the first few times you try. You might need to do this more than you think. Now, one of my tips is to combine the inside stimulation. So if you are massaging her and stimulating and fingering her with a finger inside, you can have her stimulate her clitoris. Because the clitoris has legs that go inside the vagina, they kind of surround to the whole urethral sponge, and there's a connection. And so you can imagine that her clit is like a fire stoker. For most women, they know how to stimulate their clits, and that's the part that's easy. So what you want her to do and focus on is to stimulate and massage her clit while you massage the inside of her vagina, and have her connect the two together, starting to feel sensations. Now, I also want to bring a word of caution, because the G-spot area can hold a lot of pent-up emotions, and there's no telling what's going to come up when that is being stimulated. And when her G-spot is aroused and she's having this earth-shattering orgasm, things can really be stirred. So she doesn't need you to fix her. She doesn't need you to process her things. You really just need to hold space for her. She might be crying, she might be angry, she might be happy, and it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that she's releasing tension, pent-up emotions, and suddenly there's an outlet for all of that to come out, and she just needs to let it all out without any fixing or processing that needs to happen. So if you can hold space for her, hold that container and let her be vulnerable, then there are more chances that she can get there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not just about your technique, it's also about her ability to feel her body, and she also needs to have strong pelvic floor muscles, not just like being able to contract them, but also to relax them. That will make a difference. In terms of pressure, you have to play it by ear, and it's a misconception that you have to go really fast and really hard, because the G-spot, the urethral sponge, can actually have pain, and you don't want to be like going too fast and too hard. It takes a little while to awakening, and it responds much better to a more gentler approach, and then later you can put a little bit more pressure. But start with a lighter touch and just think about it as being something that's rhythmic. Whether you want to have a round movement or an up and down or a side to side, or do a combination of all three, or just like a slow movement, but just keeping the movement consistent. That's what will work. So it's better to go lighter than harder and faster. So how do you make her ejaculate? You first of all understand her anatomy and know that you need to stimulate her urethral sponge, that you have to insert your finger in, go about a knuckle deep, and it could go a little bit deeper the more aroused she becomes. You're looking for ridges, you're looking for something that feels different, and you can start to feel when it starts to get engorged. You are also letting her feel safe and relaxed, because without that, she's not going to be able to surrender and let go, because ultimately, female ejaculation is about being able to totally surrender. So you need to create that container for her to be able to get there. Now, if you do these things and you don't expect it to happen the first time, but show up and give it enough time, you guys can work at this together and can get there. So I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and watch some more videos.